and his 12 years of service. Right now, one perpetrator is in custody and will face justice in the court of law. But I want to be clear, regardless of who shot our detectives, there's one person responsible for starting the chain of events that landed us in the hospital today. This is a man who should have been behind bars, not on our streets. He's a 28-year-old recidivist with a lengthy rap sheet of robbery and assaulting officers, who was on parole for a robbery that took place in March and was literally arrested again and released yesterday with a desk appearance ticket. Before going out to attempt a carjacking in Queens, he walked out of one more information about the crime, but it's clear that this individual has no business walking free and endangering New Yorkers. From day one, this administration has been focused on driving down crime and have delivered results over and over again, but we need help from our lawmakers. We cannot allow repeated offenders to commit repeated violent acts in our city. We know the reality of what that means, and we know what it means to prepare our officers for this dangerous work. They're training hard and taking risks. They run towards dangers while others run away. We call them New York's finest for a reason, and we saw that today. And we're going to continue to support them as they do their job. I want to turn it over to Commissioner to give a full details of the events.
Thank you, sir. The information that I am about to provide is preliminary and subject to change. At this point, here's what we know. Earlier this morning, as detectives assigned to Queens South Narcotics were returning to their command after performing a search warrant in the 113 precinct. They encountered officers from the 109 precinct along the side of the Whitestone Expressway near 22nd Road, engaging a suspect. That job began when an Uber driver in a black Toyota Highlander was parked just off the service road of the Whitestone Expressway at approximately 8:52 a.m. A male approaches the vehicle, announces a robbery, and displays what appears to be a firearm to the driver. The driver exits the vehicle and is assaulted by the perp. The driver calls 911 to report the carjacking a minute later at 8:53 a.m. The perp attempts to drive away, but the victim still has the vehicle's keys, forcing the perp to immediately return and collide with another car at the location. The perp then assaults the victim a second time in an effort to retrieve the keys, tackling the victim to the ground. Having retrieved the keys, the perp starts to slowly drive away and makes a right-hand turn onto 22nd Road. At this point, officers from the 109 are responding to the victim's 911 call about the robbery in progress. They engage the car in an attempt to make an apprehension. Detectives assigned to Queens South Narcotics see the patrol officers attempting to make the apprehension and try to assist by blocking the car in. At 8:57 a.m., officers discharge their firearms. The perp is not hit, but one of our officers assigned to Queens South Narcotics is struck one time in the right hand and one time in the left leg. He was removed here to Jamaica Hospital. This incident is recorded on body-worn camera. Blessedly, as the mayor said, our officer is in stable condition and is both conscious and alert. I am pleased to report that I met with him and his family, and he is in good spirits. He is in surgery now. The perpetrator is uninjured and was taken into custody. At this time, this incident appears to be friendly fire, as we did not recover a firearm from the perpetrator on scene. The perp in this incident is identified as 28-year-old Kevin Dubuisson. Mr. Dubuisson has a lengthy violent criminal history with 10 career unsealed arrests, including multiple knife-point robberies and multiple assaults on police officers. At just 28 years old, he is a 4-time convicted felon. Mr. Dubuisson is currently out on parole for robbery after being released from prison in March of this year, and was actually arrested just yesterday for theft of service in Manhattan and released with only a desk appearance ticket. Importantly, prior to the criminal justice reforms of 2020, an individual out on parole would not be eligible for a DAT. Mr. Dubuisson also has documented EDP history with the department. Prior to the incident with the Uber driver, at approximately 8:40 a.m. this morning, Mr. Dubuisson attempted to steal a car from a mobile gas station on Parsons Boulevard and 20th Avenue, but was scared off by employees there. Then, 2 minutes later, he attempts to carjack a female on Parsons Boulevard, just steps away from the gas station, but the victim's husband runs outside and scares him off. It was then that he encountered the Uber driver on the service road along the Whitestone Expressway. This chain of events, which could have ended quite differently, began because a career criminal, a person who has terrorized victims for nearly a decade, was allowed to continue his violent spree. It is unconscionable that a violent predicate felon who pled guilty to 2 more robberies was out on the streets to commit his crimes today. That is criminal justice reform for you. I want to thank the entire staff of Jamaica Hospital. They are taking excellent care of our officer. And this is just another reminder of the dangerous situations that our cops confront every single time they put that uniform on. We are praying for a speedy recovery and hope to see our officer home with his family soon. Thank you, and now I'm going to turn it over to Scott.
Good morning. My name is Scott Moreau. I'm the Detective Endowment Association president. I have a message for Albany. Come off your vacation now, get up in Albany, and let's start working to protect our police, our detectives that are out there working every day. In fact, this detective, thank God he's okay today. Okay, he was out working, protecting the people of the city of New York this morning, executing.
Excusez-nous, auprès de fidèles branchés Pstars, nous avons perdu contact avec New York dans un cadre explication que responsable a fourni sous agent policier ça qui blessé qui prend balle qui t'a recevoir soin que qu'a la nécessité l'hôpital c'est Jamaica Hospital du côté de Queens côté que monsieur dit prend balle on a retourné avec officier et puis nous va continuer avec explication.
Let's get this done. I'd like to thank the hospital, everybody, the doctors, everybody that's done a great job with our people here. We don't want to plan funerals. That's not what we're here for. We're here to protect the city of New York. Now we need your help, Albany. Thank you.
The firearm you mentioned, was that a detail in the 911 call, the flashed potential firearm that wasn't recovered on scene?
Yeah, so the 2 different 911 calls that we looked at, the one female from the gas station, she describes what appeared to be a firearm, and the male, the Uber driver, describes that the male perpetrator was armed with a weapon.
So he was never found with that gun?
That's correct.
Chief, is it yet clear if the officer who fired realized the narcotic officers were in fact police? And can you describe the layout? Was this a ricochet off a vehicle that the officer was in a line of fire?
Yeah, crime scene's going through that right now. We'll get the trajectory of who fired what round, but what it appears is that there was a crossfire incident. The narcotics detectives were in the front of the perpetrator car. The 109 patrol was in the rear. Right now it appears 3 officers from patrol fired.
What side? Go ahead. Can you tell us anything about the officer you mentioned? His wife is pregnant, you know where he's from, how old he is?
That's it.
No.
That's all they're going to do. Anything else? Let me just go one more time. Go ahead, Rob.
For both the mayor and the commissioner. So regarding him being released following the arrest yesterday, I mean, in all likelihood, even pre-reform, he would have been arraigned and released. But is there anything about his release in March that's particularly troubling beyond the fact that he was?
Yeah, this was a guy who was a violent predicate felon, arrested 2 more times thereafter. He should not have been out on our streets this morning.
Thank you guys so much.
Voilà, représentant yo dans la New York, la police, la justice qui t'avait fourni explication autour de incident ça qui passé matin, un policier qui blessé par balle. C'est donc deux branches dans commande là. C'est numéro 113 puis 713 et puis 709 là qui était censé coordonner activité après que tu recevoir phone call ça yo qui parlait yo de et tentative vol machine ça yon Toyota noir côté que élément ça qui tapé essayer prendre machine d'abord dans main dame et puis qui vient rencontrer yon Uber driver qui fait action si là et puis n'avait faut connaître que gagné Kevin Johnson monsieur qui c'est qu'a dit yon voleur qui habitué faire genre des actes ça yo qui prend prison déjà qui reconnaît les coupables de vol machine dans la New York. Monsieur Lagué sous parole n'est que hier, c'est seulement hier, il paraît devant le tribunal et puis avec un ticket libéré pour le retourner, c'est que hier nous avons mis en phase sur lui. Monsieur se dit donc ouais, c'est un volet habitué, monsieur pas l'autre bagage qui intéresse que voler et puis essayer ou bien tenter touyer monde. Et c'est ça qu'elle t'a fait avec dame ça qu'elle t'a pour machine même que Baril t'a aidé. Il pas de machine non, ensuite il vient prendre machine nommé Uber driver ça et bien matin bien bonheur aux environs 8h40 il engage dans vol ça qui va le permettre que policier ça li tomber en babal mais heureusement monsieur pas mourir il est actuellement dans l'hôpital la procédure soin que la nécessité selon autorité yo monsieur gain conscience de parler donc c'est un nèg c'est ça un volet habitué et yo profiter remercier personnel Jamaica Hospital qui aide rapide pour avoir soins de santé à cet agent de la police du côté de New York qui fait que monsieur lui-même il gagne la vie sauve puis il dit tout gagne ancien responsable FBI là côté que John Bolton la police ou bien FBI était la Kylie a fait fouille aller même dans bureau monsieur pour aller prendre document yo dit qui gagne rapport avec question de sécurité nationale et puis de ce que monsieur était censé mettre dehors à travers un livre que l'État peut préparer qui gagne pour sortir là. Eh bien, Donald Trump dit, monsieur, il utilisait document l'État, il était gagné information secrète qu'il mettait dans le livre l'IA, ça a dérangé sécurité pays, il allait là, de John Bolton, il a fait fouiller la caille, monsieur, et également, dans le business, il était chez Pstars FM, radio et télévision, nous allons pour nous porter plus pour vous, puisque Léa est arrivé là, il fait exactement 12h01, nous allons le présenter au devant du trône avec ce Marjorie, qui lui-même chargé pour lui aller ensemble avec vous devant le trône de grâce là, pour capable demander Seigneur ça qui a besoin. Donc restez avec nous souple, rapide nous pour aller jeune seulement aujourd'hui qui pour aller présenter ou qui pour aller avec vous. OK, il pour aller avec vous devant tout nom comme vous connaissez. Il y en a accompagné l'autre, il y en a des l'autre pour nous capable faire route ça. Eh bien, n'a demandé pour rester ensemble avec nous s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Intuitif.
Près de toi.